Okay, just want to make sure. Okay, so project one, demo. Okay, I need to have the proper folder for that. So project, I don't know, C#, blah, blah, blah. Let me call this. Okay, project one demo. This is the folder I'm going to put it in, and we say create it. Okay. All right. So, very quickly, we say to ourselves, we're going to need a button to send stuff away. We're going to need a file dialog, an open file dialog, to be able to select which thing we want, as well as select the month, day, week, period. Okay. What else do we need? Oh, we're going to need 2 date time pickers because we want a starting date and ending date. Okay. And then the other thing that we're going to need, we're going to finally need the data grid view, and we're going to need the chart. Yes or no in terms of user interface, okay? Kind of what it is. If I went too fast or something, just say so, but by this point, you should at least be able to do non-programming stuff, just what do we need on our user interface. So why don't we start that way and say, let's put the components that we're gonna need. Also, let's apply some discipline where what was the thing I told you? As soon as you put a component, what is it that you wanna do?
Name it.
Name it according to our
Convention.
okay? All right, so right away, alternate control X. Now you might say, what do I put first? Remember, whatever component you put first is going to be the component with the tab index of 0, which means it's the component that when your form comes up, that's the component, the control, that's going to have the focus. Do we understand that? If not, raise your hand and say, I don't know what you just said, I don't know what focus is. Okay, you start your form, 500 controls, okay? And you're gonna start typing. Which control is gonna get your typing data? Now, you may not even understand the question because you might say, well, if I start typing, don't all the controls get the typing, get what you type? No, there is one control that has the focus, okay? And you can change the focus by tabbing. If you tab, you would see like the highlighted control shift. That's what tabbing is. That's why it's called the tab index. Tab index 0 is of all your control, and they all have a tab index 0, 1, 2, 3. The one with 0 is the one that's there getting your input at first. Okay? So if I want that when I start my application, the load ticker button is the one ready to receive input, I make sure that that's the first control I put on my form. Do we understand now? Okay. If instead you had, let's say, put the data grid view first, because you say I have to put all these components. Well, I'll take the data grid view, put it. I'm going to put my button. Well, when you start your application, the data grid view would be the one with the focus, as they say, and anything you would start typing or mouse clicking would be going to the data grid view, which is not what you want. Okay. And you might say, well, why do you want it to be the button? So that I can start my application, I hit return, which goes straight to the button like it's been clicked. That brings up the open file dialog, okay? That way I don't have to use the mouse to go click on it, okay? I just want to keep going so that I can debug my stuff that doesn't work. Yes?
Could you please turn the light on?
What?
Could you please turn the light on?
Oh, I thought that if this was dark, it would be easier to see.
It was hurting my eye.
Is that better?
Yeah, a little bit. Well, compared to like the whole class.
Is that, well, is this better?
This is better. This is better.
Both. Okay, I see Tom. Which, do we prefer this?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna do it this way. I really thought that if it was darker, that there'd be more contrast, but okay. And again, ask and you shall receive. All right, so let's go. I'm going to go right away. I'm gonna say, because I want to get as much done as we can on this button. So I put my button, okay? And I just want to make it a little bit bigger. That's the only reason I have that. Oh, what is this guy? Is that a background work? I don't need that. I guess I must have hit something. Yeah, see, background work over here. I hit that accidentally. But okay, so I have my button. And as I said, first thing you want to do, okay? And you know what? Don't skip that. Just get into the habit, because sometimes when you have habit, it allows you to function very efficiently. You don't have to worry about anything. You're doing the right thing. You're done. Button. And the trick is simple. You always want to name it based on the control. Visual Studio already does that. So the only thing you have to do is get rid of the digit, or if there's a number actually, like 12, get rid of the number. Okay, boom, underscore, and something that makes sense. Load ticker, or whatever you would want to call it, okay? Another thing, for this guy, we also always want to change, what appears on it. And this would be, okay, load ticker. Bang, that's it. So we've taken care of our button, no big deal. Then we say, hey, you know something? We need to have an open file dialog. I don't know where it is. I can just start typing, open file dialog. Okay, I grab it, I put it in, and notice this is one of the control that doesn't have a visual representation on the form. It is something that you invoke and make come out. And once again, you go there, change the name, get rid of this thing, put an underscore, and this is going to be load ticker. You can pick any name you want. And now there's a couple of things in there that we can put, okay, but we'll do that later. We just want to get our stuff done. Okay, next thing we want to have our date time picker. Okay, so here's a date time picker. I can grab that and I put 1. It always shows it too small, so I just don't forget to do that. Now this is one where I'm going to show you a trick. I'm not going to the other part yet of changing the name. I'm putting another date time picker in here, and I'll explain why. I'm going to align this guy with this guy here, and then I'm going to make it as big and align it here. The reason I did this, put them first before changing the name, is that if you have multiple of the same thing, you want to do it that way, because now when I go change the name, I want to go, let's say, to the first one, which is date time picker 1. I'm going to say underscore start date. The nice thing is, I don't want to change other properties. Okay, I'm teaching you here to be efficient with the use of the tool. I can now, if I go to another control, it doesn't matter what other type of control, but here they're the same. When I do this, it stays on the same property. So I don't have to go, because if I had gone from this guy, moved around, let's say I had moved around to, let's say, this property. Then when I go to this guy here, I have to go back and find my original property of daytime of name. I don't want to do that. So what I do is I go on one guy, okay, the first one, I change the property over here. So when I go to the next guy, it stays on the same property. I can just change that. And imagine if I had 5 guys, I could go from one control to the other and just always stay on the name and just change the name, change the name, change the name, not go moving around looking for different properties. Do we get that, kind of? Okay, so this guy here will be my end date. Okay, and date. Now, something we need, so that people know what that is, we said we would need what kind of control to explain what these date time pickers are. What kind of control would you put in front of it? We talked a bit about that, or if you read, you would know. Yes?
The title?
A what?
Title?
Yeah, but there is no control called title. What, does anybody know? Did anybody look at the toolbox? Have an idea? Yes.
Label?
Yes, label. Did we know that? Yeah, who knew? Okay, why didn't you answer? Why didn't you give well, I don't want you to talk. Okay. If you knew, okay, there's criticism for everybody here. If you knew, boom, raise your hand, show your enthusiasm, answer. You know something? You show me your enthusiasm, you do things like that, you're the ones who get those letters of references. You know how many people I say, no, I'm not writing you a letter of reference. The only letters of reference I write are the one that I guarantee you will get you the job. Put the letter, I write a nice one, and I put my credentials, and I say where I've worked. I work at IBM Research. I've worked at Bell Lab Research. I've worked at Nielsen Media Research. I put all of that so that they know that, whoa, if this guy says that about that kid, he knows what he's talking about. That's the only letters of reference I write. So if you come to me and you want a letter of reference, I will say no to a lot of you, simply because, no, I'm not writing that kind of letter for you. And I'd rather not write a letter rather than just say namby-pamby type letter. Yeah, good student, blah, blah, blah. No, the only letters of reference I write are, you can't afford to lose that person. But I don't write that for people who never speak in my class. I don't know who you are. I've never even heard your voice, you know. Remember that. Okay, so we're gonna need some labels. And by the way, I'm not the only one like that. Here's a label, label 1. I'm gonna put another label, label 2. And again, okay, I have all my labels, and you can say, hey, let's take care of that. That label 1 is gonna be to tell the user, oh, by the way, this is the the start date that you're interested in having. So that's all the label is. It's the property is not valid. Oh, sorry, cancel. That's gonna be a label, clock underscore, well, you know, start date. Although you might say, do I really need to have a name for the label? You're not really going to be accessing that variable, but you know something? Follow